Welcome back to NCHANZPLACE. So I have here the ACME Studios Hellboy. I got this from ACME during SGCC 2019. It was December. It's been delayed for quite some time, I guess half a year I suppose, or even longer. But either way, it's here. It looks pretty amazing. But as good as it looks right now, I still feel that there's this things that kind of bugs me in this piece, and that's why I wanted you guys to see it first before also if you want to buy this piece. Because for me right now, I would say this is, as of the moment, a very good licensed Hellboy. I would say you would see later that I cannot say it would be the best because of the things that I will be telling you guys, but in terms of design, the look of it, I would say as of the moment this is the best Hellboy, licensed Hellboy in the market right now. First, some basic details. This has an edition size of 350. That's actually a pretty good edition size. From ACME Studios, it actually has 3 heads. So there's one head for the, like with the cigarette. There's one head where he somehow half opened his mouth, and there's another head with the horns and all the some kind of flame. In terms of the arms, there's actually 2 arms. This one and one holding up high the gun and also the sword. And there's also a switch out for this hand here, this one, which is when he just like doing this one, this pose. For me, this is my favorite I would say pose or set. First I didn't like it, but eventually it got to me and I'm really loving this pose. So now let's talk first about the issues. So first off, the very basic issue for me was the sims in here. So there's a very clear sim here. I saw this in SGCC. I thought this was let's say considered or been checked. I remember some of the guys talking about some of the sim, because it's pretty obvious, and unfortunately it's not that. I don't mind there's a sim because it's a jacket as well. It's somehow really obvious and it's not kind of consistent. The same thing also from the other side. So the fitting here, especially this one, is really not that good. And yeah, I mean, first off, it's this things. You can actually see it very clearly at the back in here. So you see it right away. The other side not so much, but the other arm is this. I think this is more problematic because of another thing is with the hand here. It actually hits this part of the coat, and that's problematic because it gets hit all the time and it gets damaged. And the problem is it brings the sim here more visible. So there's a lot of stuff on that one. It's more of a fitting, especially in the arms as well. The next one I really would point out was the separation between the upper body and the lower body. So it's actually 2 parts, so you have to put it in. I think there's not much problem there, but there was actually a very big problem on the tail. because the tail actually goes through the cape. I wouldn't say go through, but there's some parts here that it has to go through, and somehow I get scared. I think you really need to push it a bit. Again, there's a friction in this one, because if it's not properly placed, you would see a very big seam here in the torso part, and somehow I think at that point he would look like leaning forward. Good thing for me, I just pushed it a bit and somehow it worked. Now it doesn't look that bad. It looks actually okay. And the problem lastly also with this arm is, when you have this, you will have a problem with the sword, because the sword will not fit properly because it's hit by the gun. So this one. So that's why I didn't put the sword with this I'd say position, because it will hit the gun. So I don't know, you have to remove this and replace it with the ground or some rock. So that's the thing. Would have been nice if it doesn't hit, so that you'd still have this pose and with the sword. But either the other way, I don't know. But still, I would still love this looking pose, because it looks awesome. Either way, let's talk about how good this piece is. One of my favorites, which is actually not, if you look at the ACME website, I don't like the photos there. It's too saturated. When you look at the piece now, the colors in the ground is not that like yellowish. But if you look in here, I do love how it actually looks compared to the photos, because in the photos there was like a lot of yellow, and the actual it's kind of toned down. It looks like a ground, which is good. And also I love the base itself. I like the aesthetics of the base. The skulls are nicely painted. I love that. I love how he is posed. Like I said, I love this pose. The details of his, I don't know, holster or something, his belt is really good. I love the comic book feel, the musculature, the comic book musculature. I really love that. I love the arms. So maybe some nitpicking with the paint job in the right arm, or right and hand for that matter. I love also how the coat is folded. Unfortunately, I do wish that there were more stuff here, like folds or creases. That would have been amazing. I love the head. Again, this is my favorite of the head. I love the guns also. I really love the switch outs. I think they're very nice. I do wish that there were at least two, but I think they went more. Other than that, I mean, it pretty looks for me like a comic book Hellboy. If you're into that, this is, I guess, a Hellboy for you. Here is another look, or a different look. This looks also pretty badass. I think I forgot to mention, maybe you guys also want to hear this. So the sword, it's plastic. I really do wish this was metal. I was expecting this to be metal, but it is absolutely plastic. But other than that, I think the sword here is also plastic, but it actually looks good. The aesthetics is good, but again, it's plastic. Either way, this look is really good. Also, the only thing for me in this look is it's kind of scary or kind of flimsy or anything, because the crown in the head, it's just that it's placed there. There's really no proper pegs or anything or magnets. You just place there and let gravity do its work. But other than that, it looks pretty awesome. He looks very badass. So this is the final look of the Hellboy. Again, there's three looks. I really love the first one. This is also the first one that I love. Pretty awesome. And for this one, I can actually put this here like that. Looks awesome. So again, pretty good details. I'm not sure if it's comic accurate, but it looks comic-y, which I love. The base is amazing. The skulls for me are my favorite. One of my favorite parts is actually his belt holster. This one, the details here is pretty good, really good. And I do love the colors as well. The reds kind of pop out, not super bright, but it's the right amount of red. And I love that the only nitpick for that is actually the head sculpt. I think the body is quite lighter. The face doesn't, I think it's muted down. But either way, it's not too obvious unless you really check it. So as for the ratings, paint job quality wise, I'm giving this as a 4.0. Again, because one part was the face, the tone, or the of the red and the face is, and in the body, the red and the body and the red in the face is kind of not consistent. I think the face itself is a bit darker. I'm not sure if it's intended or not. And with regards to paint job, I think there is something here that is like a polka dots. I really don't know about that. So anyway, quality wise, paint job quality, I'm giving it as a 4.0. Color, I'm giving this as a 4.5. I really love the color scheme. I love the tone down. Don't be fooled by the one in the XM website. It's really yellowish. It's not like that in actual. That's why I tried to change my lighting to be a more ambient compared to like a direct hit, because it might disappear I hope it looks better though in this kind of lighting, so that you can really see the color. So color, I'm giving this a 4.5. Weathering, I'm giving this as a 4. There's a lot of weathering in the, I would say, in the base, but there's no weathering in him. I think only in his feet there are some like weathering. I do wish that there were more in the like his coat, but there's none. The weathering in the base though is actually quite good. If there were a lot of weathering in the piece itself, I would be giving the 4.5, but it doesn't have. So weathering is, I would say, is a 4.0. Shadows and highlights, I'm giving it a 4.5. This is what made this piece look, let's say, pop out. The beautiful shadows and highlights, especially in the coat, really amazing. So I really love that. It emphasizes the flow. So the shadows and highlights, I'm giving it a 4.5. So as for sculpt quality wise, I'm giving this a 4.0. Main issue for me is the sim here, and also other fittings, especially in the arm side and the shoulder side. And also the sim at this one though, this is very nitpicky for me in here, but I still find it like it's not properly done. But the main issue for me is really this one, the sim here. That's quite obvious, but it's not a deal breaker, at least for me. For texture, there's a lot in the base, nothing that much in the piece itself, so I don't see anything there. But the base has a texture, so that's quite good. I do love it. I don't also see too many in it. I don't want the texture also in the coat, so I'm giving texture as 4.5 because there's also in the hands. I really love the hand. I don't want it to be overly textured. Weight and size, I'm giving this as a 4.0. It's not too heavy. I mean, it's still okay. I do wish the base is heavier though. I really do it, but the base is quite light. Look at the size, and it's actually quite light. Other than that, yeah, weight and size is only 4.0 for me. Regarding details and complexity, I'm giving this a 4.5. There's a lot of details. I really love the details of the flow here. Again, my nitpick was that there's nothing here. I do wish there's like a bit more on top here. That would have been amazing. The details in the base are phenomenal, really good. The details in the folds here, the face, and also the switch shots, that's amazing. The gun as well. The gun has a very good detail, so that's why the details and complexity, I'm giving it a 4.5. So, with regards to concept, I'm giving this as a 5.0. I really love the concept, comic concept on this one, the different switch outs, the different looks because of the switch outs. I love that. Basically, I like the idea on this one, so that's why I'm having it as a 5.0 for concept. With regards to displayability, I'm giving this as a 4.0. It's a bit hard to display, to be honest, because he has this part, so it's like actually very long in that side. And I don't know, I just find it very difficult to display pieces like this one, and he's actually quite tall, so I hope he will fit in the racks. Because I don't think he has a place in the other side. So really, so for me, you have to be careful. So I'm giving this displayability as 4.0. Assembly, I'm giving this as a 3.5. Really due to the fact that one is the sims here, the fitting. You have to be careful of that one, and also the head, and also the remember the arm that would hit the sword, or the sword that would hit the arm. And also regarding the body here, really this part, this was the most scariest for me, if you don't know. So, and then you have to force it. So that's bad, to be honest, and that's why I'm giving it the assembly as a 3.5. And also for the switch outs and mixed media, yeah, there's mixed media, there's plastic, but I do love definitely the switch outs. It's pretty amazing, how it would change the look. I really like that. I do wish there's only two though. I'm not really super into switch out, but they are good. They're quite good. What I'm just concerned about is the one with the horns and the fiery crown. Because that's a bit scary, because there's really no peg or how I would say magnets there. So you do have to be careful. Because of that, I'm giving only switches and mixed media as a 4.5. There you go. Those are my thoughts on this piece. It's an amazing piece still. I'm also keeping this because I like the character Hellboy. I haven't read too many comics of him, but I really do love reading the comics. And for this piece, it just reminds me of those comics. And that's why I really love also the concept of this. Is it the best out there in terms of any Hellboy? I think for me this is the best in terms of comics, but it's never, or I guess it's not gonna be any close to perfect, because you have to deal with the sim here, and then the other side. You do have to consider those before buying this one. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, it's still an amazing piece. So this is Hellboy from ACME Studios. So thank you for watching here in NCHANZPLACE. If you like the video, click the thumbs up and help me share with everyone. And also subscribe to my channel, the NCHANZPLACE.